Speak Amazon domain name equals news greater than a single flame flickers. It is small. It is contained within a glass chimney. This is a kerosene lamp. In the late 19th century, it was a revolution. It pushed back the darkness. It extended the day. But behind this simple light, an empire was being built. An empire forged not in fire and steel, but in secrets and silence. This is the story of America's first oil empire. And the hidden truths behind the man who controlled it all. This is the untold story of John D. Rockefeller. The year is 1859. The place is Titusville, Pennsylvania. Black crude oil bursts from the earth. A frenzy begins. It is a new kind of gold rush. Men flock to the oil fields. They are wildcatters and speculators. They dream of instant riches. The landscape is chaos. Wooden derricks litter the hills. The ground is slick with oil. Fortunes are made overnight. They are lost just as quickly. The boom is unpredictable. It is violent. It is a gambler's game. But one man saw something different. He was not in Pennsylvania. He was miles away, in Cleveland, Ohio. His name was John D. Rockefeller. He was a young bookkeeper. He was meticulous. He was devoutly religious. He saw the waste. He saw the disorder. He saw an opportunity. While others gambled on striking oil, Rockefeller focused on a different part of the equation. The bottleneck. The point of absolute control. Refining. Crude oil from the ground was useless. It had to be refined into kerosene. This was the product that lit America's homes. Rockefeller understood a fundamental truth. He who controls the refining, controls the entire industry. In 1870, he and his partners incorporated a new entity. They called it the Standard Oil Company. The name was a promise. A promise of a reliable, standard product. But it was also a warning. A new standard of business was coming. A standard of ruthless efficiency. Rockefeller's first secret war was not fought with guns. It was fought with ledgers and railroad contracts. The railroads were the arteries of the nation. They moved everything, including oil. Rockefeller approached the powerful railroad magnates. He made them an offer they could not refuse. He guaranteed them massive, consistent shipments of oil. Day after day. In return, he demanded a secret discount. A rebate. This was his hidden weapon. For every barrel of oil Standard shipped, it received a portion of the fee back. His competitors paid the full price. Rockefeller's transportation costs plummeted. He could sell his kerosene for less than anyone else. Far less. But the rebate had another, darker component. A drawback. For every barrel his competitors shipped, Rockefeller also received a secret payment from the railroad. He was being paid when his rivals did business. It was an act of corporate strangulation. Competitors faced a terrible choice. Sell their refineries to Rockefeller at a low price. Or face certain bankruptcy. This strategy came to a head in 1872. Historians call it the Cleveland Massacre. It was not a violent event. It was a swift and brutal economic conquest. In just 6 weeks, Standard Oil acquired 22 of its 26 local competitors. Rockefeller's agents would approach a rival refiner. They would open their books. They would show them the impossible numbers. The inescapable logic of their demise. Some fought. Most capitulated. An empire was being consolidated. City by city. State by state. Rockefeller's second hidden truth was a concept called vertical integration. It was revolutionary. He decided Standard Oil would own everything. Everything it needed to operate. He bought forests for their timber. He built his own barrel-making factories. He manufactured his own chemicals. He built his own warehouses. He bought his own fleet of tanker cars to move the oil. Then came the masterstroke. The pipelines. He began laying thousands of miles of iron pipe across the country. The pipelines bypassed the railroads entirely. They were his private arteries. He now controlled the oil from the moment it left the well to the moment it lit a lamp. There were no middlemen. There were no variables he did not control. He had built a fortress. An economic machine with no weaknesses. Competitors were not just outmaneuvered. They were made irrelevant. The public saw only the falling price of good, reliable kerosene. They did not see the machine operating in the shadows. They did not see the secret deals. They did not see the crushed competitors. Or the small businesses extinguished. This was Rockefeller's paradox. The man who brought light to the nation was operating from the deepest darkness. He was a devout Baptist. He donated 1/10 of his income to the church, every week. He taught Sunday school. He adored his family. Yet in business, he was a predator. An architect of economic warfare on a scale never seen before. To manage this sprawling empire, Rockefeller needed a new kind of weapon. A legal one. His lawyers devised something ingenious. The Standard Oil Trust. It was a corporate ghost. On paper, dozens of companies across America remained separate. They appeared to compete. But their stock was held in trust by a small board of directors. A board secretly controlled by John D. Rockefeller. From a single office in New York City, number 26 Broadway, he could set prices and policy for an entire continent. It was a monopoly hiding in plain sight. A web of control so vast, few could comprehend its reach. By the 1880s, Standard Oil controlled 90% of America's refined oil. It was the largest, most powerful corporation in the world. It influenced politicians. It shaped laws. It was a government unto itself. But the shadows were starting to recede. The public grew fearful of this unseen power. They called it the octopus. Its tentacles reached into every corner of American life. A new breed of journalists began to investigate. They were called muckrakers. The most formidable was a woman named Ida Tarbell. Her father was an independent oilman. He had been crushed by Rockefeller's machine. Her exposé, The History of the Standard Oil Company, was serialized in McClure's magazine. It was a sensation. She meticulously documented the rebates, the drawbacks, the secret wars. She put a face to the anonymous power that terrified the nation. The political tide turned. President Theodore Roosevelt, the trust buster, took aim at Rockefeller's empire. The government filed a lawsuit. It accused Standard Oil of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act. The legal battle raged for years. It culminated in a landmark Supreme Court decision in 1911. The verdict was clear. The Standard Oil Trust was an illegal monopoly. It was to be dismantled. Broken into 34 separate companies. It seemed like the end. The octopus was finally slain. The empire was shattered. But here lies the final, and perhaps greatest, hidden truth. Rockefeller was ordered to dissolve his trust. But he still owned the shares. He now held massive stakes in all 34 of the new, independent companies. And as these companies began to compete with each other, their value skyrocketed. The court's decision, meant to punish him, made John D. Rockefeller the richest man in modern history. His fortune exploded. The companies born from Standard Oil's breakup became the giants of the 20th century. Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Amoco. They were the Hydra's heads. All grown from the same DNA. The world moved on from kerosene. The age of the automobile dawned. And Rockefeller's children companies were there to fuel it. His system of brutal efficiency, vertical integration, and shadowy influence became the blueprint for the modern global corporation. The single flame in the lamp was extinguished. Replaced by a world of infinite, electric light. But the unseen machine built in its shadow never truly went away. It just changed its name. /Amazon domain/speak